Lyndon B. Johnson is very similar to Joe Biden. How are they the same? They're both Democrat socialists. Lyndon B. Johnson was the majority leader in the Senate. Does that sound familiar?
Sounds familiar. Keep going.
His big socialist programs were the Great Society. The Great Society were big government programs to address education, medical care, urban problems, rural poverty, transportation, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and welfare.
Yeah, and all those efforts to end poverty, protect the elderly, and boost humanity were really popular. So, Marge, where are you going with this?
Now, LBJ had the Great Society, but Joe Biden had Build Back Better, and he still is working on it. The largest public investment in social infrastructure and environmental programs that is actually finishing what FDR started, that LBJ expanded on, and Joe Biden is attempting to complete.
Amen. Biden is investing more in social infrastructure and environmental programs, and he is attempting to complete LBJ's Great Society through what was known as Build Back Better. And you know what, Marge? Things like Medicare, Medicaid, educational opportunities, protecting the planet, they have majority support. So good for you, Congresswoman, in highlighting some of these Biden accomplishments. A few of us were waiting for you to criticize the Biden effort somehow and say what you object to, but you did not. Well done, Congresswoman. Reverend Al Sharpton, MSNBC contributor, what do you make of this?
If I were the Democratic Party leadership or the Biden people, I would take that clip and run it all over the country, because the things she's saying that Biden stands for and LBJ and FDR stood for are the things most Americans want and many are living on right now. You're going to attack Medicare?
No, you can't attack Medicare. You praise Medicare.
I mean, I see now why they put out of the Freedom Caucus, because now she's in a caucus of her own, and it's not a very wise caucus.
That's true. The far-right House Freedom Caucus kicked out Greene because they think she is too close with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and because Greene's judgment, they think, is off. Well, if you are a Republican, you are definitely scratching your head today over Greene's highlighting the comparison and making association between Joe Biden and LBJ. And in fact, the Biden White House loves that comparison and association. And Biden officials said early in his term that they wanted to replicate the Great Society initiatives. And by most accounts, Biden has done much of that.
Many of the things that were in Build Back Better and then ultimately the IRA were things that polled very well among Republicans and Democrats alike. And that's something that the White House leaned on quite heavily. The idea of, for example, doing infrastructure, which is generally popular in a bipartisan fashion. All of these things are things that the White House is going to point to say, hey, not only are we getting results or did get results in the first 2 years of our administration, but we're getting results on things that people can actually see and feel a difference to, and also that they support in polling.
In other words, Congresswoman Greene gave a speech that only helps the Biden administration. She reminded voters of many of the popular Biden policies. Now, one thing Greene did not mention in her speech is that the Great Society effort by LBJ propelled him to a landslide election victory in 1964 over anti-government conservative Barry Goldwater. In fact, it was one of the biggest election victories in U.S. history. Biden campaign officials are convinced that if voters see a choice now between Biden's government policies and spending and a conservative who wants to strangle government programs, Biden will also see a huge re-election victory. And every reminder of that boosts Joe Biden, even if it comes unwittingly from Marjorie Taylor Greene. By the way, Greene's frenemy in the U.S. House, Lauren Boebert, is now claiming to be a victim after blowback over a selfie she posted. Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.